Why, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Voice of the Rings. I'm your host and guide, Zollin Ironshield, and today I want to talk about a little bit about the 2.0 update that's coming out for RiseToWar. Some of my worries, some of my hopes for this update. I'm seeing a very mixed feeling on it from everyone in all the groups I play with and everyone online and stuff like that. So first, let's talk about the big thing. Since I did the beta stuff, right, I didn't really do a whole lot on the channel covering it, but I did play it a lot to see what they were doing and stuff. The first big one that I really don't think they should do, but I think the reason they were thinking about it is the whole effect of the fog. They'd put like fog around and you had to like clear the fog early on in the game. I think that's to help you get the tiles around you so that other people can't take your tiles, but it's also something I feel like it's more frustrating for the player than a positive. Okay, so I'd love to hear your guys' comments too. If you like Lord of the Rings content or RiseToWar or whatever, leave your comments. But these are just some thoughts, okay, that I've had about it. So kind of my opinions here on this RiseToWar Legacy video today. I'm a little bit worried about the combination of the heroes for several reasons. Okay, I'm going to bring it up. So this is to the devs if they see this or whatever. I'm worried about several things, and a lot of other content creators for RiseToWar are also worried about this stuff, and a lot of people who really play the game a lot, okay? So I think the positive thing is they're trying to make it where it's less, from what I've heard from a few people talking, it's a less geared towards people that are really, really strong, as in like whales, they spend a lot on the game kind of things to try to balance things out. But I actually think it's probably going to do the opposite, okay? So I'm a little bit nervous about it because what they've done is, normally when you make an army in this game, okay, this is before the thing, okay? You go in here and, you go to your army creation thing and you choose this. You go in here and you can choose your one commander and then choose the 3 types of units they have, okay, to fight with. It's a complex, but yet it gives a uniqueness to each commander. Okay, so each commander has uniqueness. So what they're gonna do now, to give you guys the premise, I think is what I hope maybe they won't fully do this. We haven't actually, the update's coming out. They haven't put it out yet. So the beta was unrefined kind of. They hadn't finished it yet. So it's just for us to kind of look at. The tree system, which I love. I've always loved the tree system. I think it's really cool. It makes every commander very unique. What they're going to do is they're going to remove all these blue ones and change the main abilities for each commander, and every commander is only going to have 4 of the main ones. And then they're going to make it where 3 or 4 commanders can be put together in the same team, and then each of them have a little group of units, okay? Well, my worry with this, okay? My big worry with this is that what's going to happen is, since every commander is still, people have already spent money on the game, people have already put time and effort into collecting items and collecting respect, they can't change the system. They can't change it where now all these items that we've set up are just useless, because that would be really bad. They'd be uproar, right? So every hero still has the full group of items. In fact, with Gimli, he can use his battle axe, and you can still use a regular weapon too. You get 5, right? So the unique is a 5th one they added. But then Gimli doesn't get all his special normal abilities. He gets all, like, a lot of his abilities are like still damage for him, but also like buffing his guys, his units. So it kind of is taking away, I feel, my worry is that it's taking away the uniqueness of commanders, okay? I also am really a little wary that they're not pushing towards other games that are like this, okay? So I feel like it's really easy on the market for companies to be like, yeah, let's push it to be more like all the other generic games that are these strategy over time with lots of PvP games. I don't think they should do that. I think RiseToWar is a very unique version of this game. It is a niche, this type of game, but it's very unique. They should not push towards making it more like other games. A couple that come to my mind are like, have you heard of Kings of Avalon? I used to play the game a lot. It's cool, but it's not. It's really complicated now, and it just, if you're a free-to-play player, it feels like you just can't play it. So that's what I hope they don't go for in RiseToWar. So we'll see what this 2.0 update does. But I think the fact that putting together commanders is cool, but I think what they should be doing is, if you want to have a single commander still with this with the whole tree, they should make it where there's two options. There's an option where you can combine a couple heroes and they only get their middle trait thing and they adjust according to that, and you can have that kind of army. Or you can have the same thing we have with a commander with all their specialized skills and what they're good at, okay? Because we've all built up our commanders and our armor. We want to be able to keep using that. So another thing I'm a little bit worried about with this 2.0 update is if they're just going to pump out too much change all at once. You never do that with a video game, okay? So if you look through history, whenever a game company completely overhauled a game, the only time it worked out is if the game was already disliked, right? And they redid it and then they got new players. RiseToWar is not disliked. People like RiseToWar. Lots of people are playing it. I'm noticing a lot of people that have looked at the update and reviewed it are not super pleased with the idea of getting rid of the uniqueness of the commanders and making them like a group. So you have like 3 or 4 commanders. Another thing that worries me with this is the fact that, well, now, does that mean if you really want to have the top tier army, you have to have the respect of 4 commanders really high up so that you can put all their points in the tree and have 4 commanders with good armor and gear to be able to fight competitively, right? So instead of having to set up, you know, a chest piece, a helmet, an accessory, and a weapon for one commander and getting about one commander's respect up, now you have one decent army fighter. Now they're going to make it where, well, you have to really have 4 commanders in one army to have a decent chance at beating these other whale groups that are going to have all the top commanders all combined, right? It also causes the effect of someone that is a whale now with massive amount of commanders. They have no problem putting together top tier groups then. Where someone who's free to play, maybe they worked, 5 seasons, they have one commander that's really strong and that's it, right? Because they're a free to play player. So I'm a little bit worried that it's gonna hurt people that want to play it more free to play the game, okay? That's what I'm worried about. And I've always complimented RiseToWar, and I will keep making videos because I really enjoy playing it still and I've invested in the game, right? I will give you my full, when it comes out and after I've played it for a while and review it, I will give you my full thoughts on both sides. But the commanders, I think the uniqueness needs to stay there. I'm just a little bit worried about that idea of combining them and making it where, like, now they're not really that special. You know what I mean? It's just, you need to get the right combination of commanders. It's kind of like the armies. I don't think that should be the case. It's also, I noticed in the PvE testing of this beta, it was very, it was almost more complicated than it is now. So the game is already, I would say, a more strategic game and complicated, but it's going to be even more complicated, which, I mean, I'm going to have to make you guys new guide videos, of course, on this stuff. But I don't think they want to make it more complicated than it already is. So doing that, I'm a little bit worried about it, guys. So those are my worries. My hopes are it does make it better for free-to-play players, and it does possibly make it more fun, more strategic, maybe a little less one commander, everyone has one super OP commander and they just bull rush through 5 commanders. Maybe it will cause a little more balance to happen in combat over the overall of PvP over the entire map and having hundreds of players. Maybe. I mean, that would be cool. Those are my hopes, okay? But overall, I'm still just a little tad bit nervous, guys, on this update because I'm worried we might, something might fall through our, the people creating the game will fall through their grasp, right? This like sand, they lose the thing people really love because they have a core base of players already for this game. I mean, I would consider myself one of them. And I really like it. I really like how it is. I want to see more little improvement updates. I don't want to see an overhaul of all the things we like completely flipped on, the whole game flipped on its head, right? I don't want to see that as a brand new game. Like they're like, oh, we're just gonna, we're gonna put a whole new paint coat on this game and totally redo everything about it and the whole innards. It's like they shouldn't do that. Don't do that. That would be bad. All right. So again, I really am enjoying the game. I think a lot of people are enjoying it. There is some stuff that I need to do to freshen the game up because it has been a little, I think it gets a little stale with the same kind of stuff all the time. But they don't want to, you want to freshen it up. You don't want to, you know, throw it away and start a brand new game. I hope that's not what they're aiming for. So to the devs, like, again, I'm rooting for you. I'm rooting for the game designers. I'm rooting for it, for us as players, me as a content creator of this game. I want the game to succeed. I want it to be fun. And so far, it's been pretty balanced. Again, those other games I've played in the past, like Kings of Avalon, I enjoyed it for a long time. I still hop on it sometimes, but I rarely play it now because it really feels super pay to win, okay? And you have to understand, guys, these kind of games, these phone games, yes, you can have fun playing them for free. But the bottom line is they want you to buy stuff. It's how the monetization works for these phone games, okay? But I thought that RiseToWar has done a really good job so far of trying their best to keep it where, you know, they're still giving you stuff for free-to-play, and your free-to-play daily rolls are still good and those kind of things. So, so a free-to-play person can still be up in the ranks playing, because if they've played a few seasons, they have 1 or 2 strong commanders with good purple gear, right? And that's possible to do as a free-to-play without spending almost any money at all in the game. But now that we're going to see this whole change into armies being like, there's 4 different commanders. You know, they all have to have gear. You're one to respect, all be decent. To have one army that's competitive, that's going to take literally, what, 2 or 3 times the work for a free-to-play person, and time of just playing the game. So maybe they'll make it easier in some way, but they can't make it too much easier, because then it'll make all the people who came before for the last, you know, this is my 12th, 13th season, I don't even remember in the game. It's like been out for over 2 years, the game now. It would make us frustrated if we spent all this time at work or paid for things, and then they make something cheaper or something, right? Then it's not fair across the board. They have to think about who previously did it, right? I don't mind slight adjustments, of course, but like if people put their money into it or they put their time into it, we don't want to suddenly be like, oh, now it only takes 2 days to get something that took other people 3 weeks, right? To like earn up if you're free to play or something. So that's kind of where I'm at right now with thinking about this new update. I'm rooting for them. I want it to be something good. I'm just a little nervous. A lot of the things I saw when I did the beta testing were frustrating to me. Okay, so, and I like learning new things, but they were like frustrating aspects. They weren't making me like the game more. They were making me click things more, right? There was more clicking and more setup and more stuff. I like the strategicness of the skills of the commanders, and then choosing your 3 types of armies, and then like the tactician mode where you get to choose your armies have special abilities. I don't really want to have to take away the uniqueness of commanders and now match 4 or 5 different commanders with their special abilities that don't really buff the individual commander. They're more buffing their one group of their unit groups, and it just seemed more and more complicated and more messy, okay, from me doing the beta stuff. So those are my kind of worries. So I don't know what you guys think. Leave a comment if any of you did the beta for the 2.0 version, but those are my worries. And again, my things that make me excited is that maybe this will be a cool system to have multiple commanders together and stuff. But I think it will really, really, really disappoint me if they remove the uniqueness of having all these special side things on top of this. I wouldn't mind if they added more to every commander. So like, let's say Durin's Blood has 1, 2, 3 options, 1, 2, 3, or 1, 2, 3, 4 of the blue ones, and you know you can't pick them all, but now you have more customization options. That would be really cool. I do not think they should be removing these secondary ones at all in any world. They should do that, okay? And I think that's what they're gonna do. So that's why I'm a little bit worried, a little bit nervous about that. And the devs, you guys really got to think of that one through, okay? I know, like, maybe you're trying to expand the game and do a new, like, kind of launch of the game to get new players. I understand that, but, like, I know there's a lot of whale players who play a lot who definitely support the game. And that's the thing, too, people. We complain when, oh, man, these people are whales, or, you know, blah, blah, blah. Those people who are spending a lot of money, yes, they're really strong. But they are supporting the game for the rest of us to play, who are playing free-to-play, right? Because that's how they make money. Right? Now, something that I would think cool is what if RiseToWar thought about doing cosmetic things, right? Let us see our commanders more like this and maybe give cosmetic skins or something, right? Like League of Legends or other games make monetization. I feel like that's a better way to make money because then you're keeping PvP more fair. Now, again, you can't change that at this point in this game, right? The monetization, how they make the money on this game is how it's set, right? But I'm saying that could be another way for them to make money if they need it, right? If it's stagnating on their income or something. I really don't think it is at all. But just saying, that could be another way for them to do stuff like that, right? Because again, no one would have to buy those things, but I'm sure some people would buy them and support the game that way, right? So again, those are the kind of things that I'm thinking about with the new 2.0 expansion. There's a lot of unknowns still. It's not out yet. Hopefully they are listening to the community. So far, RiseToWar has listened to the community. If they do the fog thing, I know everyone hated the fog idea. If they do that, that would be clear that they didn't listen to the community. Okay, that's all I'm saying. I'm not going after you devs, guys. I'm supportive of the game. I really like the game, but that would not be a good idea. Don't do things that the majority of the community you already have don't like. And again, I really don't think they should be removing the extra abilities on here. If you're gonna put commanders together, these abilities should all stay, and it should just be more complex with the abilities and putting all the commanders together with armies. Okay, but don't remove their specialty abilities. They should work the same. And maybe there's a little bit of a weakness. If you put all the commanders together, there's some bonuses in some areas, and in other areas, certain abilities get weaker, right? So you don't have overpowered, like, 4 monster characters all put together, right? You'd have to have some balancing there. But I really don't think they should be removing these special side abilities and then only leaving the middle ones. And not just leaving the middle ones, they're changing them drastically. And I've also noticed they're lowering numbers, which crunch numbers, that's okay to an extent, making it a little more simple to understand, but the numbers have never been very high on RiseToWar to begin with, so making them like tiny numbers, which I noticed in the beta, they were like, 10, 20, like 4%. They're really small numbers, which is fine, but yeah, just a little bit, those are all my thoughts. What do you guys think in the comments? Let me know. Don't worry, I will still continue to make videos of RiseToWar of the game, but I am going to vocalize my opinion because the RiseToWar community, they seem to really like it, the devs, that when we talk and let them know what we think, and I will do it respectfully, of course, I always do, but it's the game we play, we love, we have a lot of it, we really enjoy it, so we want to be able to say, what we think. So again, those are my worries, those are my positives on things. A little bit more on the worry side, I know that's unusual for me, but I just saw a lot in the beta that I was like, don't really like that at all. So and I know that's not just me, I know that's definitely a majority of the community that's already playing the game. So, but there could be some cool things that keep the game more balanced from a large PvP perspective with the army things, and making it a little less linear was what the word I was looking for, with fights, right, with commanders. So it's more like multiple commanders fighting, so it'll make it a little bit more complex. But again, I don't think that'll hurt. Some people were saying that would hurt the whales and make it more balanced for free to play. I don't think so. I think that's going to make it easier for the whales, because they're going to have the money to be able to fully equip 4 commanders in an army, where a free to play person will not, okay? Because it'll be the same amount of everything. That's my feelings on that. So anyway, thank you so much. Thank you to my wonderful patrons. I'll see you all in the next episodes of Voice of the Rings. Subscribe button, Lord of the Rings, Rise to War, Baru Kazakuzare menu, and I'll see you on the next episodes of Voice of the Rings.